Hi, everybody. Welcome to UmpireTeacher.com. This is Bugsy, and we're going to talk about the one-man system right now. And we'll start out with some preliminaries. Arrival at the ballpark. In other words, when do you get there before the game? Let's say you have a 6 p.m. game. You want to get there at least 30 minutes prior to game time. Now, every association is a little different, so you find that out from your association. But I would recommend at least 30 minutes. Get there. Find a place to park, run up and tell the coaches you're there, and then get back to the car and change into your gear, or if they have gear there. What I also would recommend, if they have gear right there at the ballpark, grab the gear and go off to the side and change into it. You change right there at the diamond. A lot of times people will bug you as you're getting ready and so forth. It's always nice to grab that stuff, put it on, and then walk onto the ball field 5 minutes prior to game time. Now what we do here is, as you can see on the screen here, we have our umpire right behind home plate. This is Coach from this dugout, and the coach here from the dugout to your right. This is the proper way to have the meeting at home plate with the coaches. Now, if one of the coaches is standing somewhere else, that's fine. Sometimes they come off to the side here. But if you can get them together like this, one's on one side of the plate and the other one's on the other side, you're right behind the plate, and that's where you're discussing ground rules and so forth. Now, if you do happen to have a national anthem at your ball game, then you would just stay right there behind the plate, take your cap off, put it over your heart, and face the flag. And then when the entire anthem is over with, you get behind the plate and you take some warm-up pitches when the catcher's taking throws from the pitcher. Okay, in this DVD series, we're not going to go through specific rules. We might touch on them off and on. But let's talk about warm-ups here. After the pitcher's warming up to the catcher, and you can get back there and see a few pitches, and then once you're comfortable, you can come back to the side. Where would you stand? Come off to the side here, right on the foul line. What we don't want is just a note. We don't want the batter, I should say, standing right there. The reason I've got a BR for batter runner, once he hits the ball, he becomes a batter runner. When he's batting, of course, he's just the batter. But we'll keep it as a BR, so in these diagrams you can see what I'm talking about. But we don't want him real close here when they're warming up. Get him out of there. It's just a courtesy thing, and we don't allow that to happen. It's just common courtesy, and let the pitcher warm up without the batter taking a look and to see what he's got and so forth. Okay, before we get started, let's discuss what we call the working area. Later on in the DVD, you'll see some original diagrams that I had put together. It talks a lot about the working area, but let's draw it for you. This is the area where you're going to work the most in the one-man system, and it would basically be right about here. We take these arrows, bring it down into this area, and then down here. So basically, you're in this area right in here, and that's where you would come out to. I'll explain that here more in depth as we get going, but this is our working area for the one-man system. About as far as where the bases are, real close to the pitching rubber, and then also back in here. You can come back in here, but we're going to come out here, and we're never really going to get out in this area. We're not going to come out here unless we have no runners on, and I'll explain that in depth as we get going here. So we're going to start out with no runners on base. You got your fielders, left fielder, center fielder, right fielder. You got your third baseman, shortstop, second baseman, first baseman, pitcher, and catcher. And, of course, the batter, and again, it's BR because once he hits the ball, he becomes the batter runner. And as we add runners, you can see they're over here, and we'll be adding them when we need them. Okay, so with nobody on, it's very simple. Now, what you don't do in beginning umpiring, you don't chase the ball per se, and you're going to see what I mean by that. Let's draw up what's going to happen here. Let's say we just have I'll give you a couple of highlights here. A ground ball to shortstop, all right? So we got a ground ball to shortstop. And what happens with the throw? Ball comes up to the shortstop, and then he's going to throw it to first, okay? And then, of course, the batter runner is going to come up the line, and he's going to come up like so and try to beat the throw. So as an umpire, what do? We don't chase the ball, but we do get out from behind the plate. We get out from behind the plate, and we get into that working area. Remember the working area I talked about, and we're trying to get angle. And we get set before the play is made at first base. You don't make running calls, because when you run, your eyes move up and down. You want to be set. The ball's thrown, and we'll get into details on how to get set a little later on in this. Okay, so that's a real simple. You just come out here and you get in that working area, and you're not coming down the line because you'll be looking up the batter runner's rear end, and you don't want to do that. You want to get out here and get some angle, and what you're trying to do is create angle, which would be probably in this case more like 45 degrees or whatever that might be. I'm not a rocket scientist here, so you know. All right, so you're trying to get an angle with your eyes. You're set, and you got a clear view of all the feet on the bag. You can see the first baseman's foot on the bag, and you can see when the batter runner touches the bag. Now what we're doing at first base is we're